Welcome to the Paranormal Gateway Paratalk. I'm the host Scott Wise, and joining me is the other host, Mel McIntosh.
Bobby J. Gallo has been interested in all things weird since a very young age. He is a modern day Renaissance man, a world class professional magician who has toured the country, performing for colleges, resorts, trade shows, and television audiences. He is also an avid ghost hunter, published author of two books called Family Spirits 1 and 2, and an exciting and sometimes chilling look at the world of the paranormal captured through the eyes of a ghost hunting family who started their adventure out of pure curiosity but eventually became experts at contacting the dead. Also a speaker, networking leader, corporate trainer, web series producer, musician, and the creator of the International Conservatory of Magic, the world's largest online school for magicians. However, his most significant accomplishment has been raising his two incredibly talented ghost hunting daughters, Nikki and Courtney. In addition, he has been married to his wonderfully patient and beautiful wife Renee for almost 3 decades. They reside in Castello Gallo, a haunted Italian brick castle in Roseto, Pennsylvania. So without further ado, let's welcome Bobby to the show.
Hey everyone, how are
Hey,
you?
doing well, how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
I almost didn't get you in there. I thought I'd give you the link, but hey, we're here.
Yes,
It's
yes,
all good, right?
everything worked. That's right, we're here.
We're here, we're gonna have fun tonight, so.
That's right.
Yeah, I read both your books and enjoyed both, so we'll definitely promote them tonight.
Mhm.
Um, so we'll ask everybody to first start. What got you interested in paranormal? And I read that you had a instance when you were younger, right?
Yes.
When you're a 6 year old, but
Yeah, well, um, it started when I was very, very young. I would say grade school or maybe even younger than that. And it was basically in the form of dreams that I was having. And by the way, excuse the flickering of my screen. I think the ghosts of the haunted castle are,
uh,
yeah,
they're
are,
at it again.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you
They're
got to tame the beast.
a little bit of mischief there. Um, I mean, because I know it's not. I got a brand new computer, so I'm hoping it's not that. But anyway, I used to get very very strange dreams when I was a kid, and if anybody's familiar with the infamous Hat Man, um, I actually used to see him in my dreams. And back then, I didn't know who he was. It wasn't only until very recently, seeing pictures of this entity that I realized it was exactly what I was seeing when I was a kid. But I always had an interest in the supernatural and the paranormal. Um, and basically, as a kid, I was, attracted to these things. It's not so much that I was psychic. Some people can say they were psychic at a very young age. But I have to say that I think it was, I just think it was an interest I've always had. And, as I grew a little bit older, I went on my first paranormal investigation around 1989 with a group of friends to a haunted theater that was actually built by my great uncles. And that's where I did my first investigation. So basically, back then we had nothing to go on. I remember during the investigation, I was using nothing but a candle, a key on a piece of string that we were using as a pendulum, one of those VHS Rick camcorders that you put over your shoulder, and a flashlight. Oh, and a 35 millimeter camera. And that's basically what we did our investigation with.
Yeah. That's
And
what one way not to lose your keys. Have a string on it.
what's that? What about the
That's
key?
one way not to lose your key. Have a string on it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it was anything I was using at the time. That was everything. It's I mean, all my equipment. Every time I want to use something, I'm like, okay, now what case did I put it in? Where is it?
I was the same way. Oh my God, it wires.
So yeah, so basically that's how I started.
And that was with the Psy guys.
The Psy guys.
Thank
That's
God,
right.
Psy
I
guys.
remember one of my friends saying, "Well, we need a name," and the term paranormal investigator wasn't even coined back then.
Right.
that,
Right.
well, we're psychic investigators, which is what they used to call us. So why don't we call ourselves the Psi Guys? I said, okay, yeah, we'll call ourselves the Psi Guys.
So yeah.
And we were doing that before the plumbers, before the three random guys, you know.
Oh yeah.
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 So,
Yeah. I started off before that too. But
yep,
yeah, when I started off, we had VCR tapes and
yep.
yeah. So
The nice thing is that a lot of people in this industry will say, well, I've been in this before anybody else. Well, I've been in this since this date or that date. I can actually prove it because basically what I did is I released that very first investigation as episode 1 of Gallo Family Ghost Hunters so people can see it. And boy, do I look a lot younger than I look today.
oh, don't we all? You know. Right. Well, we're in old graciously, so we'll be all right. Right. As long as it's how you feel, all right.
Good.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh no, I feel great. I feel great. I'm actually very healthy. So I have to thank the good Lord above, and but I think that this is what I'm supposed to do, as a paranormal investigator. I think this is my calling. So I think that's why I stay healthy because we're out to prove something. We're out to prove the existence of the afterlife. And that's got a lot of benefits. It's very beneficial for society because if we could prove that this is not the end, I think people will have a very different outlook on life. I really do.
Right. So we did an investigation of the Palace Theater. Did you
Right.
get evidence out there?
The only thing that happened to us when we were there is there was a little bit of poltergeist activity, which was actually common for that theater because what was happening was the owner of that theater at the time was having objects thrown at him, and he wouldn't even enter the theater at night. And during the investigation, we actually had a golf ball of all things thrown at us, and I still have that golf ball to this day. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You took it from the location.
I'm sorry.
You took it from the location.
Yeah, I know. You're not supposed to do that. In
Yeah.
fact, oh, you got me. Okay, there we go. Oh, he's calling me out, folks, because I have that in my book that you shouldn't do that. There was even like an old movie posters on the floor littered all over this theater, and I was telling my teammates, "Don't take that, don't take that." But that cop went down its way home with me. So
Yeah. And I think there's something else over the piano. I think it also there's like flowers that were there.
yes, 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 yes. There was the most notable thing about that investigation was that on the very top level of the theater there was a haunted piano, and on the top of the piano there was a vase of fresh flowers. I mean, they looked like they were just picked. And when we went, all of us, when we went back down to the lobby to talk to the night watchman who let us in, we had, obviously permission to be there, but the night watchman, he wouldn't even come upstairs with us. Some night watchman, right? I told
Should
him,
be like, sure, I have one. Run like to be
yeah,
chased by ghosts.
exactly. He asked us what the flowers looked like, and I told him that they looked fresh, like they were just picked. And he kind of blanched, and he said to me, he goes, "Those flowers were put up there 6 months ago, and nobody has watered them since." And that was a very, very crazy thing.
Yeah.
But the most notable thing recently about that investigation that happened in 1989 is that there's a very popular publication called Weird New Jersey.
Oh yeah, I know
And
that.
yeah, I mean, these guys are on Paranormal Code on Camera.
Yeah.
It's very iconic where I live. And they just did a 5-page spread on that investigation that happened in 1989.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, they didn't just do it as a few months back, but Yeah, that was an honor. It really was.
Yeah.
So I write about it in Family Spirits too. And I said, better late than never.
But yeah, I heard that was like months and months till I finally got to you on
Yeah,
it. But
that's right.
yeah, yeah, wow. So yeah, and you actually went back many years later with the family, right?
That's right. Um, After we started the family ghost hunting team, Gallo Family Ghost Hunters, we actually went back to that theater with the entire family,
Hmm.
along with some guest investigators. And there was so much evidence during those investigations that we actually had to split it up into 3 episodes
Wow.
Mm.
because it was just one thing after another, after another, after another. The theater is haunted to this day.
So
That's
did
really
you?
cool.
So how long was it from the first vacation to the family on? How many years?
That was 20 years.
20 years. When you went back there, was anything missing or different? Or
No, what had happened since that time, the theater was purchased by a group that actually restored it,
oh,
and
cool.
it's now a children's theater.
Oh,
And
cool.
but he got wind that not only did I do this investigation 20 years ago, but that I was the great nephew of the two men who
Hmm.
built the theater. My two great uncles built the theater, and he was telling me that to this day he has all kinds of experiences in there. So I
Mm.
asked him, "Can I do an investigation?" He literally gave us the keys. He goes, "Just lock up when you're done." So we were there all night, and boy, that what a night that was! And people could
Mm.
actually watch that on our web series. I know they're watching this
Okay,
right now. You
yeah.
see ghosthunter.ws beneath my photo here.
Yep.
They can go there and they can watch everything.
Yeah, well, oh, so too. You don't have to bring this up or get too far about you being a musician, all right?
Yeah.
So, what got you started in that? And with that, I guess art or deception, does that help you in any way when investigating? I mean,
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if you look over my shoulder, you can see a top hat right there on the
oh,
on
I
the
see
shelf.
it.
I've actually worn that.
That means you got to do a magic trick before you go tonight. Yeah, that's gonna
Oh no,
happen.
no, don't even say that. You're mixing my worlds here.
I know. I was just picking on you. We're just interested in how you decide to do it when you're younger and yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I was interested in magic as well ever since I was a small child, and one thing that I found out very early on was the close knit relationship between professional magic and paranormal investigation. Because of what a lot of people don't realize is that Harry Houdini, way back during his
Mm,
time, half of his full evening show was devoted to debunking fraudulent spiritualists.
mm,
Because this was just after the Victorian spiritualist movement, and it was still raging, during Houdini's time.
yeah.
And there were genuine psychics and there were frauds. And he was going after the frauds that were taking advantage of people. And of course, he also wanted to see if the genuine ones
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
really the real deal, which I believe
Yeah.
they were.
Yeah.
Um, so, you know, and as a magician, to get back to your initial question, it does enable me to see if there is something that's fraudulent as far as paranormal evidence is
Hmm.
concerned. Great, because I have a trained eye for this now. And a great example that I wrote about in Family Spirits too is when my wife and I were watching what is now a very popular paranormal television show. And I'm not going to name it because I don't even name it in the book. But I will
But they
tell
have
you,
to.
yeah, yeah. We were watching it, and the hosts of this show are very trusted. They come off very empathetic, very trusted. And they were in an allegedly haunted house. And in the hallway of this house, they had REM pods set up. And if your listeners don't know what a REM pod is, it's a device that has an antenna, and it creates an electromagnetic field around the antenna. And if anything physical breaks that magnetic field, an alarm goes off. So they had this set up in a hall, and all of a sudden the REM pod goes off. The two hosts look at it in utter amazement. And all of a sudden, I mean, I immediately saw it. So I rewound it, watched it again, rewound it, watched it again, and showed it to my wife. And frankly, she was devastated because she, trusted these people.
Yeah.
But what happened is that there was a room on the other side of the hall. The camera angle was positioned so you couldn't see it. And somebody was waving their hands up and down,
Oh
breaking the
my
field
God.
and setting it off. You could see the shadow on the wall.
Oh,
And I showed it, and it was, she will never watch that show again. And it was things like that that made me write the second book, Family Spirits 2, Purpose in the Paranormal, which
yeah.
have right here. So if people want to see the cover, there it is.
Yeah.
And I know you also had it on the trailer to the show, which I appreciated. That was awesome. Yeah, you have very good production value on this show.
That ruins it for everybody out there trying to find something. That kind of ticks me off a little bit.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. So.
How's my audio? I know my camera's flickering.
You sound good. Yeah.
Okay, good. The audio's good.
So
Okay.
if we lose you, we'll still hear you.
I don't think I'm going to go anywhere. I just think it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
With the lines, as long as my audio is coming through, that's all that really matters.
Like, I know you and your wife, you used to investigate before you had your daughters. When they first started off, they took right to it.
Yeah.
A question I have, because I think they're the abilities they had, but a lot of people will think, I don't know, and I started my kid into an early age, think that it's not good for kids that age to get into such a subject, paranormal, So I know your take on it, and why did that work out for you think? And
Well, first of all, I've been interested in this thing since I was their age, number one.
right,
And number two is they're the ones who wanted to do this in the first place.
yeah,
Because, we were watching Ghost Adventures when it first came out on TV, and they didn't know I was a paranormal investigator while they were watching. They were totally enthralled with this show. And we were about 10 episodes in when I turned to them and I said, "Hey, kids, Daddy used to do that too." And all of a sudden, the world absolutely stopped.
wow,
And they were like, it was like, I don't know, have you ever watched that movie Spy Kids? The young boy on the show, when he finds out his parents are spies, he's incredulous. He's like, "My parents aren't cool enough to be spies." That's how they looked at me. And it's like, there's no way that my dad could do the same thing as Zach Bagans, which, I have two girls, so they obviously had a crush on him. And so they immediately wanted to go ghost hunting. So I brushed up on current gear. I acquired some of it. We went out, and from the very beginning, we were getting evidence. And honestly, they've never had an issue. We've had some frightening experiences for sure, but they've never had an issue. I always told them there's more to be afraid of the living than the dead.
oh yeah,
And there are pastimes out there that kids take part in that are far more dangerous than paranormal investigating. And I go through them in Family Spirits too. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And where kids could get really, really hurt. I said, my daughter, Courtney, the youngest one who is now in college, she was just injured in competitive swimming, but she's never got injured on a paranormal investigation. The worst thing that could happen is you trip over a sunken grave.
Yeah.
And I always told them to watch out for that. So
Yeah.
they were very, very aware of that.
yeah. Television going through at night with so I use the Sony Handycam, the one you used with night shot.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I had one of the original tape ones many years ago. I got 20 years ago.
Well, you know what? It's 20 years old, and we still use it for our investigations.
Yeah.
First of all, picture quality has really not changed that much since then, on these cameras. But that camera gives us the ability to have everything on a physical disc as opposed to an MP4, those things get corrupted. Those files get corrupted.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
could do an investigation all night long, get the best evidence. You go to download the file, and the thing's corrupted. You're done.
Right.
You're out of
Right.
business. You
Also,
know,
the lens algorithm, I think, are Carl Zeiss lens. So,
they are
yeah.
exactly.
So,
They are Carl Zeiss lenses, and nowadays, even your better camcorders have plastic lenses.
yeah. And,
Yeah, this is a glass Carl Zeiss lens.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and the infrared capability, which is the
Oh,
main reason why we use it, you can't
yeah.
beat it. I mean,
Oh,
they are
no.
amazing cameras. In fact, I own two of them
Mm-hmm.
because I like them that much, and I stock up on the mini discs in the event that I'm not going to be able to get them anymore. But we still use it to this day. In fact, we got an investigation coming up at Menges Mill in Pennsylvania with one of the cast members from the TV show Ghost Hunters, and we are going to be using that camera because I love those cameras. You could, if anybody's listening to this, the Sony Handycam with night shot, you could still get those things on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
People are selling them. I recommend picking one up because honestly, for a ghost hunting camera, it's one of the best I've come across.
It is. Because mine still had the M8 tape, 8mm tapes. That's why I had tapes in. So I was the real only ones. So, but yeah, I used that for many years. I was using it as a web camera. I had an adapter, and I would videotape the program and use that.
Sure.
That was good too. I used that for a little time like that. As a stationary camera, going straight into my computer on the program I had.
Right.
So that was nice. And I beat the tail of that thing. I did. I used it a lot. Now, I was at a group for like 15 years. And you were talking about Mangus Mills. That was one of the places we wanted to go and never got to. Well, in Pennsylvania, when I lived there. I always wanted to go over there. That'd be pretty cool.
Will that be a new location for you, or have you been there before?
That's going to be a brand new location. In fact, it's going to be a brand new location for everybody because the location has never been investigated before. And it's a 200-year-old mill, and the owners attest to a lot of paranormal activity. So we're kind of excited for this one. We really are.
Bet.
I mean, we try, as a family, we've tried over the years not to do a lot of these, what we call paranormal attractions du jour.
Right.
All the asylums and the prisons and the jails and the, some of these haunted castles, because, I personally think a lot of the energy has been sucked out of these places with all of the investigations. You go into a location that's never been investigated before, and if there are spirits present, they are just itching to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So I think our odds of getting really good evidence is much better, and I do base that on a lot of personal experience because, one of our best pieces of evidence was caught by accident by a spirit that wanted to talk as we were leaving a cemetery. So, I do believe that places that haven't been investigated they're not only more active, but I think that getting the evidence is much easier to do.
I actually have that if you want to play that one.
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely. It's called, the episode is called We Were Not Alone.
And it's, I think it, Father gave me, let's call it Come Back. I think that's it, right?
Yes, it says
Come back.
come back, and then 5 seconds later, don't leave now.
Yeah.
Two complete sentences that the spirit said, and it was caught by accident. And while you're playing that, I am actually going to go out and come back and see if I can fix this camera.
Okay. All right.
And we cut the two EVP clips out, and we're going to play the first one for you. And this was just as we were walking back to the car. And let's see if you can hear exactly what it says.
I don't want to step on anybody.
Let's try that again.
I don't want to step on anybody.
Let's try that one more time.
I don't want to step on anybody.
Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to amplify this so that you can hear it again.
I don't want to step on anybody.
That is a clear EVP saying, come back. We were going to the car, we were leaving for the day, and an entity, EVP, is saying, come back. Listen to it again. 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 Unbelievable. Now, we're going to go to the next one. We weren't out of the cemetery yet, and yet we captured another EVP. It's a female voice. The same entity follows up with another EVP. It's unbelievable, folks. I never had two in a row like this. Listen. Did you hear that? Listen to it again. 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 The first one says, come back. The second one says, don't leave now. Same voice, two EVPs, completely related messages in a row. So let's play them back to back.
I don't want to step on anybody.
And here's the second, moments later. Come back and don't leave now, just as we were leaving the cemetery for the day.
That's awesome. Great catch.
Yeah, and the thing about that is what happened was I forgot to turn off my EVP recorder. It was in my pocket. I left it on.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got home. I realized it was on still, and that's what I downloaded the files. And when I listened to it, my jaw dropped. I yelled for my wife. I said, "You're not going to believe this." And I've played that for many people. And the thing is, it's not just one word; it's two complete sentences.
And they're really clear.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times EVPs, you gotta listen to them a couple times to hear it, but those were really, really well done.
And it's a female voice. It's the same voice in both EVPs. I mean, honestly, we've gotten some we've been very lucky. We've had very good luck with EVPs over the years.
Yeah.
And but that's to me, that's our crowning achievement for EVPs anyway.
Yeah. We got very lucky too with the ones we got. Now after I come back, do I hear, is that your daughter saying she don't want to step on anybody?
That was my wife.
Oh, okay.
It was her and I. She was very superstitious. She didn't want to walk right over the grave. She was like walking between, and
Yeah.
And I don't blame her,
Well, no, though. I thought, I was wondering. I thought maybe it was your daughter, so that's the. Yeah, people are worried about that too, going through. But well, you're there to visit, and you don't want to do any harm. So I think I see it that way most of the time. So.
Yeah. It's we've gone back to that cemetery. It was Old Unity Cemetery in Fort Mill, South Carolina. One of those places that has never been investigated, and it was so active that we've gone back many times. I've gone evidence. We've learned at a later date that spirit was Nancy, and she actually helped us out with obtaining some other evidence too. But watching that clip, I definitely come to a conclusion that I need to get another ear hoop. I like the hoop that I was wearing. Right now I'm just wearing my stud today. So.
You're a stud, right?
Oh, there you go. Follow me for more fashion advice, folks. Hey, you got to have fun with this, right?
Yeah. Bobby J. Stud Gallo. How about that?
There you go. Oh my goodness, I don't feel like it anymore. Though, I got to tell you, I'm going to be 58 years old in 1 week.
I'll be 55
Wait a minute. Wait a
in
minute.
August.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be 59.
Uh,
59 in 1 week. I keep saying
yeah,
58. I
yeah.
am 58.
I'll be 55 in August, so I'm not too far behind you.
There you go.
Don't gather evidence. You want to talk about some of the tools you use?
Well, you know what? We usually take a minimalist approach. I mean, we do have some great equipment. I often get asked on shows like yours, if I had one piece of equipment, what would I use? And I always say it would be our infrared pocket camera. It's a Bell and Howell S7 Slim, and it has the best. That's where we caught our full body apparition on that little camera. And if I could only have one piece of equipment, it would be that camera. But if I could have more pieces of equipment, it would be the camera, the EVP recorder. Right now, we're using a Zoom H2 right there, folks, right there.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, Zoom H2 is a really great camera, very, very sensitive. Kind of a neat story behind that one. Very early in our careers, you could count the number of paranormal web series on YouTube on one hand. I'm not kidding. When we started doing it, and we were getting so many hits and so many views that all of a sudden one day I get a package in the mail from Warner Brothers Studios.
Oh, wow.
I'm not kidding. And this was one of the things in the package. And another thing that was
Nice.
in the package was a tri-field natural EMF detector.
Oh my God, that's
You know how much those
expensive.
things are going for?
Yeah.
Now about $500.
Yeah.
And other things. And they just said, keep doing what you're doing. And I honestly believe that we were being scouted at that point because nobody else was doing it. Then all of a sudden, literally overnight, this field just exploded.
Right.
And now if you go on YouTube, you'll see hundreds, if not thousands, of paranormal web series. So over the years, we've kind of gotten lost in the shuffle. But in the beginning, we were starting to make a mark. And it wasn't just the fact that we were getting evidence. It's the dynamic of the family who ghost hunts. And that's something that people still aren't doing. I mean, very few. You see that, usually it's a bunch of teenagers, 20-somethings out there, all wearing black shirts, kind of doing the same things. But what we did was something different. I mean, we wear black. We have Gallo family shirts too. Yeah. We're a black shirt team too. They call it. So I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying that's what we are.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, but we've been doing it. We've been doing it from the very beginning of this phenomenon, if you will, because I remember, when we started doing it. April Abercrombie, she runs a Facebook forum called Ghost Advice, which has been around since the beginning too. And she was like, wow, this is like another ghost show to watch, because back then you had Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, and Paranormal State. Those were the three shows. And so what we were doing was really novel. And, people were watching. It was literally their fourth ghost hunting show. And we had a huge following that developed over in England, of all places. In fact, even to this day, we're more popular over there than here. When I released the first Family Spirits, the first Family Spirits book, Family Spirits 1, that sold more copies in the UK than it did in the United States. It hit Amazon, number 3 on the adventure travel category, but it sold more copies in the UK than the US. Right. Still.
That's cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed both.
Yeah, you read them both.
Yeah, I read your second one today.
That's amazing. That's very impressive.
Yeah, I can.
And you survived my really bad humor. I try to be funny in the books, but sometimes.
Yeah, like I said, I had to go on a few weeks back. I read it, but I was sick for a week, so I put it off. But
I hope you're feeling better.
I'm getting there. But yeah. Joe, we're talk about orbs tonight too, and like I said, dust versus spirit orbs, and I'm with you 100% with they are spirit orbs. they're there.
Yeah,
It all depends on what you usually take the photos with. I think with
right.
you so.
I have a lot of thoughts on this, and believe me, I've thought about it a lot, and I've pondered it, and I've meditated on it, and I've examined the evidence. But first of all, I'm going to say something right off the bat. If people haven't read The Orb Project by Klaus Heinemann, who is a NASA scientist, this guy's a NASA scientist. He has impeccable scientific credentials. This guy examined the phenomenon and came to the conclusion that they are not dust. That the theory of backscatter, which is what the paranormal intelligentsia has called the act of a dust floating in front of a camera lens. And, of course, you take the flash, the light flashes, reflects off of the dust particle back to the lens, gives you the appearance of an orb. But there are too many circumstances in which orbs act intelligently. And it's funny because we don't know exactly what they are. Are they spirits in and of themselves? Are they emanations from spirits when they're entering this plane of existence? But even if, because there's going to be people watching this now pulling the hair out of their heads because this is such a polarized subject in the field of the paranormal. I don't think anything gets more arguments than this. But let me tell those people, the skeptics, even if it's a dust particle, let's just say it's a dust particle. Now, we believe in poltergeist activity, right? We put teddy bears out there as trigger objects so that children's spirits can move them, rocking chairs, opening and closing doors. Don't you think it would be much easier and take a lot less energy for a spirit to control a piece of dust? Something so light and so small. Maybe they are grabbing dust out of the air, putting it in front of the camera to show us that they're there when we ask them to. I'm just throwing that out there. This is all conjecture. I don't think that's the case. I don't think ghosts are controlling dust particles, but I do believe that there is a paranormal component to orbs because the strategic placement, they're always where they're supposed to be. When I ask them to appear and take a picture, they do, which is an experiment in the Orb Project by Klaus Heinemann. And he just wrote a recent book called Phenomenal,
Really?
which is recommended reading for anybody into the paranormal.
What's it called?
Phenomena.
Phenomena. Okay.
Yep, Phenomena. This is a new book by him. He hasn't backed off one bit. And this guy has got the evidence to prove it. And he shows you the evidence in these books why it's not dust and why, because they've done clean room experiments. He had access. Anybody knows what a clean room is? That's a room that is devoid of any dust. It has to be.
Yeah.
Because they do certain things in these rooms that you can't have anything in the air. He's gotten orbs in those rooms after asking them to appear. He's gotten orbs underwater. He's gotten orbs in situations that would be impossible to get an orb otherwise. So anyway, I'm not going to belabor the point, but I am with you. I do look at orbs as paranormal evidence, especially when they appear in conjunction with other things that are happening on an investigation. We're getting unusually high EMF readings. We're getting communication through an ITC device. And then all of a sudden, I say, can you pose for a picture right there? I snap the picture and there's an orb. What are the odds that that is dust when I didn't get an orb on any other picture in the investigation? 1 in a million, 1 in a trillion? I mean, you tell me. So
Right.
I've been doing this for too long to see the pattern. I don't believe it's just the fact that they say it's dust is a blanket statement, and I don't buy it.
Well, that's the array that we got that they're blinking say goodbye too. So I don't know if that's. But, there's always controversy throughout, and I don't know. It's just a controversial subject that people say,
If anybody wants to know what I'm talking about too, one of our episodes, this is a recent episode, The Ghosts of Valley Forge. Watch that episode, and you'll see what happens in a highly charged paranormal investigation when I ask one to appear, and it does exactly what I told it to. And you can see it on that episode. So, like I said,
Yeah. It's also the picture in the book too.
yeah, yeah, yes, and Family Spirits too. I put the picture
Yeah.
in the book. Absolutely, I
Yeah.
did.
Going back to the apparition, like the Paratalk camera that you had, I had a video. I think of that of the when you gave me. I think.
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'll play it. I think this is it. So here we go.
So people will come out and clean it up for you. Does that make you happy? Yes.
Hearing the regular noises.
There's a lot of noises around here. Honey, where did you put the flowers? Back over there?
Oh, right. We did bring you flowers. We were here last time. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember that we were here last time? It was just Bob and I. Do you remember that? Yes, that's Bob. Yes. We were both
Oh
here.
my gosh, I just got the chills.
Yes. We remembered to bring you flowers just like we promised we would. And I'm very happy that they're going to clean it up and maybe the flowers will be
Oh my gosh! Alright. Oh my gosh, Daddy, look at this.
We'll do evidence review later, sweetie,
No,
not
I'm
now.
serious. Look at this.
I'm serious too.
I'm serious. Look at that.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I just took a mommy. I was facing towards you and that came up.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible.
You're going to need a flashlight for that.
Hey! I just saw it again. No, I'm serious. I kept this. Look at. See, mommy, how still mommy is? That is another one right next to mommy.
That's amazing.
Look, show this to
You're
the
right.
folks.
You're
Show
right.
this to
There's
the
nothing that
folks.
could be doing that.
Show
Renee,
this.
look at this. Look at this.
It was right by you.
Aww. That's because you're speaking
Can I
in the
show it to the
recorder.
folks?
Thank
Look at that,
you.
folks.
Thank you
That's
so
unbelievable.
much.
Isn't that amazing, folks?
Yep.
What other evidence do you want to get?
It's right by mommy again.
Is it really?
Yeah, look at it.
Let me
It's right
see.
there. See, that was not there. That next to her is only bushes, and that does not look like bushes to anybody.
Daddy. Are you standing right next to me?
Renee's like, what? No way. And she's like, yeah.
Yeah. That was a full body apparition standing right next to me.
Yeah,
And-
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, seek and you shall find. I mean, we asked him to pose for a picture, and he wasn't an orb. And
Right.
and what I like about that whole series of shots, as you can see how it started as an ectoplasm cloud, and then it formed into the full body apparition with distinct human features like the collar, the cloak, the head. I mean, you could see it all. Yeah, that's a rare capture right there, but that was done with that Bell and Howell camera. And I'm always looking on eBay for them. I have 3 of them now because they don't make them anymore. But you can still find them. But you got to Bell and Howell S7 Slim. If you see it on eBay, grab it, folks. That is the best
Okay.
paranormal camera I've ever used.
I'll have to check it out, though.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, did you return that place more after that?
Unfortunately, no. See, that was on private land. We
okay.
we had permission to investigate it, and it was on a plantation, and I had a reputation for being haunted. And I asked the owner if we could do that, and she granted us permission. Here's the sad thing, and this is what happens in the paranormal field. Just out of curiosity, I typed the place up on the internet on Google, And yeah, the cemetery's still there, but now it's barricaded with fences all the way around. From paranormal investigators seeing our episode and just trespassing. So now now it's completely off limits. No one's ever going to investigate there again.
I think sometimes if you don't know it will happen, you might want to put down undisclosed location before you know it.
Well, the problem is it was already on the internet before we
All
did
right.
the investigation.
Okay. All right.
But,
But once you did it, that way went.
yeah,
Cut,
yeah.
Okay. Got it.
But now there's fences with do not trespassing signs, and I know it's.
Right.
I hate to feel responsible for that, but we probably are the ones who are, because people want they want to capture that too, of course.
Well,
But
you know, there's also people out there who trash the places too. And that really ticks me off too. I've had already old cemeteries. You up there's beer bottles there and broken glass and that's terrible. But
yeah, it is. It is. Oh yeah. I mean, we have the one episode called "No Spirits Allowed," where we encountered a spirit that was upset because kids were drinking at the grave and they were leaving their beer cans all over the place.
oh my God.
Yeah. We get that a lot.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Fiji, could I have a sponsorship, please? Just saying.
What's that?
I want a sponsorship for Fiji water. Never to be plugged here.
A little product placement.
I'm always looking for an angle. Now,
I got Gaviscon. So.
there you go. I mean, look, I gotta find an angle because the latest news in the paranormal world was Destination Fear got canceled, so they did a GoFundMe and they raised $250,000 through a GoFundMe in several days to continue their show on YouTube. And I'm like, man, why can't I do that?
Yeah.
That kind of money, I could quit my job and investigate full time.
I actually have one more video. I can't remember which one it was. It came with weird numbers on it, but do you remember what it was? I can't remember.
Was that the one with the EMF detector?
Yeah, going into the cemetery. Yeah.
Right. Well, this video precedes the full body apparition. It's the same investigation. But
I'm sorry. I know what the order to put it.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I went there earlier in the day to scout it out before I brought the family back. This is what happened when I scouted it out. And I'm going to tell your viewers right now, I very rarely get frightened on an investigation. This frightened me because this made absolutely no sense. When I got to the gates of the cemetery, I could not enter. So if you want to play that, you'll see what happened before the rest of the family came and we did the investigation where we got the full body apparition.
Okay.
Okay. I think we found it. Wow. Wow. I can't say this place isn't the least bit creepy. Holy Toledo. Okay, we're going to get the Ghost Meter Pro out here. Wow. Oh my goodness me. Holy crow. Whoa. Oh my gosh. Folks. Unbelievable. The hair on the back of my neck, oh my gosh, my arms got goosebumps everywhere and the Ghost Meter Pro was going nuts. Folks, I'm in the middle of the woods here. Folks, I'm freaking out right now. Folks, it's near nightfall. This is unbelievable. The Ghost Meter Pro is going absolutely crazy. I got to get Renee back here with the rods. There's no power around here, folks. We're in the middle of the woods. This isn't a small spike.
Wow.
That was the spirit keeping me out of the cemetery.
Yeah.
It was for real, because I felt it. I could not enter. I was. Let me tell you something. I was freaking out because I'm not. And a lot of people do ask me, Bobby, why were you wearing sunglasses at dusk and the sun was almost down? And the answer is, I forgot to take them off. So before you ask, that's the reason, folks. So yeah, that's. We've had some great adventures. You know, we've done over 60 episodes, 60 Actually, now it's almost 70. Some of the most haunted locations in America, and it's all on our web series at ghosthunter.ws that you can see right there. So yeah, but that's if people always ask me, they say, Bobby, if I could just watch one episode, which one would it be? That's the one I always point them to, The Hidden Grave of Thomas Sprott, because that episode has it all. You know, I mean, some episodes are going to be better than others. But I got to say, you know, everybody has their own taste. You know, I did a show 2 nights ago, and the host's favorite episode was Flowers for Emma. And that really took me back, because I wouldn't have thought that, you know, as a paranormal investigator, he would just like communication with the spirit using dowsing rods, and pretty much that's all there was in the episode. But he said it's amazing. It's just, you feel it. He says it's an emotional episode, which it is. And but we have them. We have all kinds of episodes like that, and you'll see a lot of locations that you don't see anywhere else on, you know, other paranormal web shows who are all investigating the same lunatic asylum.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, a lot on there. I was going through some, you know, over a few weeks, and yeah, that viral one was pretty good. So yeah, I've helped too. So yeah, it's like a lot of ones you go into, and it's sad when you see some dates born and die, because a lot of them are children that, you know, died. I've seen 6 months old already, and you know, it's terrible. Yeah, back then they had disease and stuff with them. You know.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So it was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, and I say that all the time too. It's like, you know, I've said this a lot actually. That, you know, like I just said that I'm going to be 59 in about a week. But back then, people living to my age, I was considered old. Because if you go to a colonial era cemetery and you look at the death dates on the stones, the birth and death dates, you were blessed if you lived past your 50s. Very few people did.
All right. We never seen my past that date. And we used to go out there every one and look at them. You know, that's I live in Georgia and that. So we're going to check it out when it's nicer weather. I got that app. We're going to take along and use that to hire here. So yeah, a lot to do there.
There's
Cut that mail.
There's a lot of good apps out there. I mean, you don't have to have like really expensive equipment. Like I said, like we're minimalists. We use like EMF detectors and, you know, recorders and things like that. But there are some good apps. I mean, my good friend Danny Bigbeard of Bigbeard Studios, who created the EchoVox, he's one of them. He puts out legitimate apps for paranormal investigation, like not for entertainment purposes, like for hardcore paranormal investigators. And we just used this new EchoVox Touch at Gettysburg and got crazy intelligent responses telling us to get off the battlefield. So there are some good apps out there. It depends on what you use. I go over them in my books. I tell them I give recommended apps in my books. There's some that I know are garbage, some that are just
Right.
games and toys.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're all mixed in with the real ones. If you go to the Google
Right.
Play or the iTunes store, you got your good ones and your fake ones, and they're all mixed together, and people don't know what to buy. So if anybody wants to know, just message me on Twitter and I'll tell you, or buy my book.
Yeah. Buy his book. It's good. So yeah, you enjoy it. I did. So now I'm sure Mel will be getting there shortly.
Mel, you're quiet.
Yeah, I often am. I really just like listening to people explaining their experiences. Like I'm very new to the
Oh,
field,
really?
so a lot of the times it's just very interesting for me to be here and listen and learn. So
Well, tell Scott to lend you my books
Okay. Okay.
because
Thank you.
my books are primers too. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'll Mel just joined my ghost hunting group back, a year and a half now.
yeah,
that's
about a
awesome.
year and a half.
Yeah, we did a few investigations, so.
Well, there's no experts in this field, Mel. We're all still sailing in uncharted waters.
Mhm.
Um, I can tell you what I believe after my years of experience doing this, but it doesn't mean I'm right. I mean, we're still dealing with something that isn't quantifiable yet.
Mhm.
There's no physical evidence. It's all either anecdotal or empirical, but there's no scientific evidence of it yet.
Mhm.
But we have a lot of. I mean, we have evidence. It's just not scientific evidence, but we do have evidence,
Mhm.
and it's always going to be hard, I believe, because we're trying. You can't put a ghost in a bottle, so you're never going to get that real physical evidence. I mean, maybe we will, but I mean, it's unlikely in the near future. But when things happen that can't be explained, the EVP that you played, there's no other explanation for that. There just isn't. I mean,
Mhm.
it's clearly a voice. It's clearly overdubbed on my wife and I. Um, there's just no other explanation. It had to be a spirit, in my opinion.
Right.
Um, some people have tried to debunk the full body apparition. I haven't received a satisfactory debunk, but some people have tried. Um, but the longer you do this, the more sure of it you become. Like I tell people, I passed the point of belief a long time ago. For instance, we call them evidence strings. If you get EMF readings and orbs and ITC communication all at once, the more evidence strings you have, the closer you come to scientific proof.
Mhm. And I think that's part of what makes it really interesting, particularly since everybody has different kind of areas that they seem to really like. Some people really like the haunted dolls and stuff. Some people are very into
Oh, that's
orbs and
big.
so it's just very interesting to learn what kind of things different people experience more powerfully than others.
Right. Absolutely. And everybody has a different style.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
We've been fortunate for EPs too. We had the one up in Palmyra Historical Museum, and beside it is Phelps Journal Store. And we're upstairs in the dining room doing a EP session. And the tour guide, the guy who helped out around and with the museum,
Right.
he wanted to go along with us. Well, we traveled to Pennsylvania to New York. And he just asked if these guys came all the way from New York, can you do something for them? What? Not waste their time.
Right.
And we got also the EVP, and I can play real quick if you want to hear it.
Sure. Absolutely.
I'm sure I have it here. Well, the history of this building is that Phelps store location, a family died in a fire at that spot. Everyone died except for the husband who was out, supposedly out of town. But they ended up burning to death in that building.
Hmm.
If there were upstairs, we got the sub recorder downstairs. And see if we can hear what it says before I tell you.
Hey, come on out. These guys came all the way from Pennsylvania to come and see you. Did that light just go out on that computer? Is there a reason that did that? Hey, come on out. These guys came all the way from Pennsylvania to come and see you. Did that light just go out on that computer? Is there a reason that did that?
So now, what was the anomaly that? Because I heard a bunch of stuff in there.
It was at the very end, like a female voice at the end.
Okay.
I play again so you hear the ending.
Okay.
Hey, come on out. These guys came all the way from Pennsylvania to come and see you. Did that light just go out on that computer? Is there a reason that did that?
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to come on down with us.
Yep.
Yeah. That was a better answer to that.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's just weird. It comes down with us. You know, hey, a lot of death in that building. And it's like, I don't know what can go down with you. Yeah, we've been fortunate too. I mean, I think coming up, we're gonna have a EVP episode. Single PS VPs, probably sometime in August, maybe. I'm booked out to May right now. We start with your schedule, so cool. Well, another question: are you gonna have another book?
I'm sorry about what about the book?
Are you gonna have another book, a new one coming out?
Oh no! Family Spirits 2 is the new one. That's the new. Oh, it's upside down.
Yeah,
That's the new one right there.
Okay. I know you. You're always. I know you. You're always writing stuff down.
Oh my gosh!
So,
my gosh!
You know.
So the thing is, books are so hard.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the first book was difficult to publish. The second one was even more difficult to publish because of all the interviews that I had in it. But, I'm going to let it right now. I'm going to just, promote the 2 books that I have in the web series and try to get some new content because, we don't crank them out. In the beginning, we were really cranking out the episodes, but we haven't been doing that so much anymore. So I really want to start focusing on that. And it's not like you really have to, but I think people want to see new stuff because I do re-release the old ones on new platforms. Like right now we're on BB3 TV on Facebook, and we're re-releasing all the old episodes. But, my fan base, they've already seen that stuff. We need to get some more content out there. And it's not like we're doing it for content. I want to make that clear. Our purpose always has been and always will be trying to prove the existence of the afterlife. But you can't do that unless you go on an investigation. And I'm not going to do an investigation unless I could film it. And that's a big problem, by the way, with a lot of these venues that you have to pay to do an investigation, like some of these big old mansions and some of these really famous haunted houses. I was just on an investigation of probably one of the most famous haunted houses in the world that they did a movie after, if you get my drift, wink, wink, wink. Mm-hmm. And they wouldn't let us film. They wanted, let's just say, just short of $2,000 to be there for the evening, and you couldn't even film. Now, I didn't pay it. I was a guest. But if I was the person paying it, I wouldn't have been too happy, to be honest with you. So that's why I don't even go to these places that charge you to do an investigation. Very rarely. Yeah. Anyway, I would much rather, unless of course they let me film and use my content, then I'm all for it because that saves me the trouble of scouting out my own location. But most of the times we just find our own places to investigate.
I got this one. Jimmy, do you have a question? Sorry, miss you. If you have a question, post in comments.
Hey, Jimmy. Love to hear your question.
Just still in there.
Yep. Well, I'm glad that Jimmy's watching.
Oh.
Oh, he's
First
probably
out.
typing out his question. So while he does that, I guess maybe we can talk.
Okay. So your family goes to how many trips do you go on a year now? Cause your daughter's in college, right? One of them are both in college.
No, Nikki G is out of college right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, crazy, right? And the youngest, Courtney, who was 8 years old in the in the series, she is now graduating college actually in a month, and she's actually going to end up going to law school. So this
Wow.
8-year-old girl that was running around in cemeteries looking for ghosts is going to be a lawyer.
All right. When I started off, my kid was 5 years old, and he always asked me to go ghost hunting. I'm like, dude, you gotta wait a little later than that. And once I upstairs, I'll take him. Nah. He was doing his computer games to read books and stuff, which read books is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but he just wanted into it. So I keep asking him where to go. So I wanted to take him to the fire museum that last time. He only go. Oh wow. Oh, I don't think he's gonna say anything. But
Yeah, I don't know, Jimmy. I'm curious about what your question was. I know I'm talking a lot, but I think that's the purpose of the show.
yeah, I think he
Yeah.
will. Yeah, maybe he's just wondering why, you weren't. Of course, the answer, but I don't think he even asked the question yet. So
Hey, you know what? He's watching. You know what? So,
yeah, yeah.
Jimmy, thanks
Always
for being
possible.
a part of it. That's the most important thing, because I'll tell you right now, that's the biggest hurdle with any show is like people watching. But I'm going to make sure people watch this show because I will promote it heavily, which I do to our
Yeah.
fan base.
We too. Once it is posted for our Wednesday night, sometimes it's really good for us. I can't do Monday to Tuesday or Fridays. We could do Thursday, but we decide Wednesday. I think that's kind of the hard place for people during the week. But we usually get a lot of views afterwards. Within that week or so, I pick up. So we'll get the views once I post everything. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So
Yeah, I'm wondering who else is watching because I know. I mean, I put this out there, and
I don't know. I had like one time we had 4 people, and now we're down to 1. I think.
okay.
So
All right. Very
I guess,
cool.
yeah.
So anyway, just for the viewers, I mean, we have our books, Family Spirits 2, which are really, this one is 300 pages. This one's about 200 pages. But it's basically everything we know about the paranormal in these 2 books. All our investigations up to this point, all in these books right here. You can get them on Barnes and Noble, Amazon. You can get the first one on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, but you can only get the second one on Barnes and Noble because we did an exclusivity deal with them. So, because when things are independently published, it can be a little bit pricey. So when somebody like Barnes and Noble says, "Hey, we'll foot the bill for everything," you do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what
Well,
we did. With that
I
one.
think you if you have I don't know if you still have a promotion for the code, I guess, for the one book. I guess you had it. I don't know if you have it up now or not. I think you have for Barnes Noble code. I can't remember if that's what it was or not. I'm
Um,
not sure. I'm not sure. Well, anyways, this Skip Gilbert runs up. I got the digital copy yesterday and I read it. So,
oh, cool.
so good,
Awesome.
so go ahead, get it, and it's really the book's really good. So
That's great.
yeah, yeah. So well, I'm sure he's gonna ask. I mean, it's not many people went for drawing. So is Jimmy gonna get a book?
Yeah.
I guess Jimmy's getting the book. There's only one person in there.
Jimmy's going to get my books. I can tell. I just know Jimmy. You know, me and Jimmy are like this. I'm the one over here.
Yep. So
It's an old
I'm
joke, Jim. It's a joke.
I'm going to give his each of gets his first book on digital copy, and if Jimmy, who's in here now, I guess get late, he wants to give me his email address, I can send it to him to Amazon. So if he's listening,
I know Jimmy's listening because Jimmy and me we're tight. We're tight. I feel the bonding right now. I do. You and me, Jim. We're gonna go. We're gonna go investigating together, pal. Come on, give me a fist bump. Fist bump.
right, fist bump. All right, well, I'll give him I'll give a couple of minutes. If I don't get his email, then I guess we'll just, I don't know. Guess I'll be enjoying your book. All right. Well, it's getting late. Last words.
The only thing I will say to everybody who is watching is that we promote our web series heavily, but we make no money on our web series because it's on Vimeo, and you don't get paid to show your videos on Vimeo. You pay them because it's a hosting platform. The only way that we get by to subsidize our investigations is book sales. So I would encourage everybody to go to ghosthunter.ws and pick up some copies. I don't care if you pick up the ebook, the physical book, whatever. It really helps us out a lot, and I really believe that you're going to enjoy it because in the second book, if you're into the paranormal scene, the second book is really great because we have some interviews with some great people in this book, like Brian Cano of Paranormal Code on Camera. He's in Haunted Collector. He's in this book. An ordained exorcist, a renowned psychic medium that I have had experiences with. So Family Spirits 2 is a great read if you're in the field. The original book, Family Spirits, is good for everybody. If you've never ghost hunted, if you're just curious about ghost hunting, if you just want to read really cool, true paranormal encounters, this book is great. And, I couldn't be prouder of both of the books. I couldn't be prouder of my family. Without them, the books wouldn't even be possible. So, and they're really not that expensive as far as books go these days. So I would really appreciate anybody to check them out.
Definitely. Well, I'm going to post my email in, and Jimmy, if you're a little shy, which you might be, if you shoot me a little after the show or whatever, and I get your email, I'll send books to you on the zero copy.
Awesome. Scott, it's been a privilege being on the show. Mel, it was wonderful to meet you.
We had a blast, believe me, and we'd love to have back on in the future, definitely. And
I would come back on anytime.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get the fan one, too.
Yeah, that's becoming more. At the end of Family Spirits 2, I said, I don't know if there's going to be Family Spirits 2 because now, it's Purpose in the Paranormal, but my kids are finding their own purpose in life right now.
Right.
Nikki, I can't get the four together. As going forward, it's going to be like, I'll go on investigation with this one, this one. Like I know that me and Nikki G, we're planning on doing an investigation, just the two of us, and then it's going to be me, Renee, and Courtney at Menges Mill because Nikki can't make it there, so it'll be the three of us there. But it's life, life happens,
right?
And but we do the best we can. I am really fortunate that we were able to do what we did. We're still going to be creating content. Just getting the four of us together at one time is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but our friends and our fans, and I still kind of crazy for me to say our fans, but we do have fans,
Yeah.
and there's people that follow everything we do. In fact, really quick story before we go, we were at the first Warren's Paracon up in Waterbury, Connecticut, and there was a radio show much like yours right on the booth right next to us, and we had no idea. We were not prepared for this at all. It was just Renee and I were at the booth. All of a sudden, we're like bombarded by people who knew who we were, and they wanted our pictures and they wanted our autographs. And these people at the radio booth, they're looking like, who are these people? We never heard of them. And it was just because we've always been like this underground thing. Like we've always had our fan base, but we've never been part of the paranormal communities. Only now are we really branching out and becoming a part of this whole thing. So, yeah. So it's an interesting thing. So I mean, there are people out there that follow everything we do, and some of these people we don't even know them until we get to a Paracon, and boom, there they are.
Yeah. We're going to the Paracon, Paratalk in May out here in Ohio.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We're not far from Ohio. One of these days I have to start doing some things up there.
Yeah.
Because, it's only one state over. I mean, they're big states, but still.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we got some coming up. We got Menges Mill coming up. That's the investigation. And then we have, we're doing the Hell House Paracon. It's called Hell House because it's also a haunted house attraction around Halloween, so they call it that. We're doing the Sleepy Hollow Paracon. Oh, the big one. We're doing the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash.
I'll be there. Are you
going to be there?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yes. Hey, do you smoke cigars?
What? My wife would kill me if I smelled like that.
You know
Yeah,
what? They have a cigar truck, and I was going to buy you a cigar. Open invitation. Just saying.
Well, do you drink? I'll buy you a beer.
Oh, I'll definitely have one with you. Absolutely. Twist my arm. Oh, stop.
We do our family vacation back to home to Pennsylvania every year, and I made the weekend of the bash. So.
Well, maybe, I mean, if we could coordinate our schedules, maybe we could do an investigation out in the field there.
Oh, God. We could probably find a cemetery somewhere.
Well, I'll tell you, there's the Gettysburg battlefield's like right there.
Yeah.
And in the last time we did it, we were there. We went out with Gavin Kelly and his wife, and we caught a full body apparition on the field.
Well, we definitely are. We're down the road, and I'm not. I was like half an hour. Yeah.
Let me know because be more than that. That would be fun. We'll get you on an episode.
Mel, you're awesome.
Mel, you going to be there
in Pennsylvania
at the Battlefield Bash?
I don't think so, but
all right.
It's not set in stone yet.
Got it. It's an interesting thing. We sell our books there, but we don't make a lot of money there because it's more for the paranormal community than it is for the general public.
Mm-hmm.
And but I love it. It's for a good cause for wounded warriors. I think they're doing another charity this year too, and I wouldn't miss it because everybody who's anybody is there in the paranormal field. Everybody's there. It's great place.
Yep, I can't wait. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. Can't wait. I can't wait myself.
Yeah, be here. Well, you know it.
Yep.
I can't wait for the Cyclops. It's been a few years I've been there. I get to meet all the authors that I had on the show and other ghost time groups, and they have one.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. They're doing a Pennhurst one, and I was going to do it, but it's just too much. It's just too much.
Yeah.
There's only so many you can do, and before you get burnt out. I mean, I know people that they go to every Paracon they can, and they literally spend all year on the road, and I don't know how they do it. There you go. It's a paranormal pooch.
Just killing.
I love it.
Oh shit! She flew headphones off.
Good thing you have a stabilizer on that microphone.
Yeah, she always tries to get them off when I'm trying to do my shows. She's 13 this year, or 14.
Wow.
She's Siraski baby. She runs that house crazy.
That's great.
They wanted it for a few years, I'm sure.
That means she's being taken good care of.
Oh yeah, she's spoiled rotten.
Oh yeah, like my 2 cats.
Yeah. She goes on my lap. She's on my lap while watching TV, and yeah.
Yeah, my 2 cats, Precious and Pookie.
Oh my god.
That's true. They are the most spoiled cats on the rest. 2 rescues. They are the most spoiled cats on the planet.
Actually, I only got you one beat. I had a cat. I named him Booger. My mom, I was living at home at that time. I was in grade school. I was junior high, and I couldn't get to the vet. My mom took us out to the vet. They asked his name.
That's crazy.
That cat was crazy. He freaked out back and forth and climbed on the screens and all that. My mom hated him. But, oh well. We thought about getting a cat here, but it's just we have such a small apartment here, so it wouldn't work out too well.
Yeah, I mean, if you do that EVP episode and you want some more EVPs, let me know because I have some killer ones.
Oh,
I mean, the one
yeah.
that you played is one of our better ones, but I have some good ones. I mean, I'll never forget we were at a battlefield and Courtney was reading off of a monument, and it goes to we got an EVP that looked at it said, "Can you read?" It was like actually like this big thing that this 8-year-old girl was able to read, and we actually got the EVP. Can you read? Question mark. It was crazy. So we got some good ones.
Wow. Yeah, I'll send them to you of ours. You can listen to them. So, I can. Oh. Alright, well, I get a guy coming up. I'll check my email afterwards and see if he wants the book or not. If not, then, well, I'll get a mail. There you go, Mel. I'll get you a book. I'll send it to you. Mel gets a book.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, if you don't answer me within an hour after the show, it's yours.
Okay. Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy. Jimmy, our friend Jimmy.
Our best friend, Jimmy.
With the one-sided chat comment. I don't exactly know what he meant by that.
Well, it's a put up at like 2 after 8, so I'm not sure. Oh well, I mean, I have people already come on with comments and stuff.
I'll bet he didn't like the orb stuff.
That could be. I mean, well, I always say to each their own. I always say, like, when I'm doing these shows, I mean, I bring people everywhere on different thoughts and ideas and theories and all kind of stuff. So it should be expected.
Yeah.
So I think Bobby's phrase.
I do talk a lot.
That's all right. I mean, it's just talking to Ross. Well, okay. I think we kept you long enough, Bobby. And it's a great time having you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. The ball. We'll definitely have you back. And good luck on the Mangus Mill.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And
you guys are the best. And Scott, I really do look forward to seeing you at the Bash.
Oh, yeah.
We're definitely going to have a drink together.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I like dark beer, so.
You like dark beer?
Oh, dark beer, yes.
Okay, I'm going to sneak in a bottle of bourbon. I'm just telling you.
Oh, we're going to do that. I'm going to get scotch on the rocks. You got to figure out, huh?
Scotch? You like scotch?
Yeah, I like scotch.
Yeah, I'm a bourbon guy.
Yeah.
I used to be a vodka guy. Then my brother got me drinking bourbon, and now I'm hooked on bourbon. So.
Oh, I've had some bourbon too. I like I think the smokier ones are better. But
I drink everything straight too, which is
yeah. Oh yeah. I drink it straight too here at home, but
take a couple sips before it goes, kind of calms the nerves.
yeah. That before I met my wife, I used to smoke cigars and drink Grand Marnier.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mel, this is not what you're supposed to be doing on an investigation. I'm just saying, I'm making a disclaimer right now. This is not recommended behavior. Okay.
No fast out on investigations.
I mean, but what if some of the spirits want to drink with you?
Yeah.
Then if you don't have it, you won't be prepared.
Yeah,
so
right.
it's all
You
part
know
of
what?
the job. Be prepared
Drink
for everything.
alcohol did everything back then. It was medicine.
Oh yeah.
Relaxation. It's what put you to sleep at night. They'd have a hot toddy. I mean, they used it for everything. In fact, in colonial times, they drank because most of the time the water was contaminated and they get dysentery. So they would just drink alcohol all the time.
Right.
Everybody was always drunk.
But well, that I think I also read that Guinness Stout was also tonic.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they even treated wounds with it. Well, you could with the bourbon I drink. You could definitely treat a wound. I'm telling you. I don't
Well,
know
you could probably use it to seal up a cut too, pour it on your head with layers.
Very funny. Very funny. All right, guys. I guess I'll let you go.
All right.
Well, thanks for coming on. It's been so much fun.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I like to
Okay.
have fun during these things because there's nothing worse than a boring interview.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess until next time. Happy haunting, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Good night.
You too.